Inflation is down, but your life still feels expensive. Let's talk nuance. If you've been watching the news lately, you've probably heard reporters celebrating. Inflation is cooling. Prices are stabilizing. It all sounds like good news. But then you go to the grocery store, or pay your rent, or open your electricity bill and you think, what are they talking about? Everything still costs too much. You're not crazy, and you're not alone. The way we measure inflation and the way we experience it in real life are two very different things. Today, we're going to bust some of the biggest myths about inflation, explain them in plain English, and give you the tools to actually understand what's going on with your money. Myth number 1, inflation is down, so life is cheaper. This one trips up a lot of people. When you hear inflation is down, it doesn't mean prices have gone back to what they used to be. It just means prices aren't rising as quickly anymore. Think about it like this. Imagine last year a gallon of milk cost $3. Then prices jumped and now it's $4. That's a big increase. If inflation is down this year, it means the milk might go up to $4.10 instead of $4.50. The pace slowed, but the price is still higher than before. That's why you don't feel relief when you shop. Inflation coming down doesn't mean deflation, where prices actually fall. It means the fire is burning slower, but the house is still hotter than it used to be. Myth number 2, the official inflation number tells the whole story. When you hear that inflation is 3% or inflation is 2.7%, that number's an average. But averages hide the details. Some prices may be falling, like gas. Others may still be rising, like rent or food. Depending on how you spend your money, your personal inflation might feel very different from the national average. Let's say you're a college student who doesn't drive much. Gas prices dropping won't help you. But if your rent just went up by $100, your personal inflation is way higher than the average. On the other hand, if you're a delivery driver, gas savings might really matter, even if your rent went up a little. The point is, inflation is personal. The headline number is just one piece of the puzzle. Myth number 3, if my paycheck went up, I'm beating inflation. Not necessarily. Wages can rise, but if prices rise faster, you're actually losing ground. Let's say you got a 4% raise this year. Sounds good, right? But if rent is up 6% and groceries are up 5%, your raise doesn't fully cover the higher costs. It's not just about how much more you earn, it's about what that money can actually buy. Economists call that purchasing power, but you don't need the fancy term. Just remember, a raise only matters if it outpaces the rising cost of your essentials. Myth number 4, inflation is caused by one thing. You'll hear different explanations. It's because of government spending. It's because of supply chains. It's because of greedy corporations. The truth is, it's all of the above and more. Inflation has many parents. Sometimes it's demand. People buying more than companies can supply. Sometimes it's supply problems, like when factories shut down or shipping lanes get clogged. Sometimes it's global events, wars, natural disasters, or pandemics. And yes, sometimes companies raise prices just because they can, especially if they know customers will pay. So if someone tries to tell you inflation has a single cause, they're oversimplifying. The real world is messier. Myth number 5, if inflation is down, the economy is fine. Not exactly. Inflation is just one indicator of economic health. You also have to look at wages, jobs, housing, debt, and more. For example, if inflation slows but rents keep climbing and debt payments rise, people still feel squeezed. It's like going to the doctor. If your blood pressure improves but your cholesterol is high, you're not out of the woods. The economy works the same way. One number never tells the whole story. Myth number 6, inflation is the same for everyone. We touched on this earlier, but let's dig deeper. Think of two families. Family A spends half their budget on food and rent. Family B spends a lot on travel and luxury goods. If grocery and rent prices spike, Family A feels pain. If airfare and hotel prices spike, Family B feels it more. That's why inflation feels unfair. Your neighbor might say, I don't know what you're complaining about. Things are fine. But for you, with your unique spending habits, it feels much worse. Inflation isn't one size fits all. Myth number 7, prices always go back down. Nope. Prices rarely go back to what they were before. Once companies raise them, they tend to stick. You might see discounts or sales, but the baseline price usually stays higher. Think about candy bars. Decades ago, you could buy one for a quarter. Today, it's over $1, sometimes $2. That's inflation. Prices didn't drop back down. They just rose slower some years and faster in others. So if you're waiting for groceries or rent to return to 2019 levels, don't hold your breath. The best you can hope for is that they stop rising so quickly. Myth number 8, shrinkflation isn't real. It's very real. Shrinkflation means you're paying the same or more for less product. The bag of chips that used to weigh 12 ounces now weighs 10. The orange juice that used to be 64 ounces is now 59. The cereal box looks the same, but it's filled with more air and less cereal. Companies do this because it's sneaky. You might notice a higher price, but you probably won't notice a smaller package. It's another way inflation shows up in your daily life. Myth number 9, inflation only hurts. It mostly hurts consumers, yes, but it also has ripple effects. For borrowers, inflation can actually help in some cases. If you have fixed debt, like a 30-year mortgage, inflation makes that debt easier to pay back over time because your future dollars are worth less. That doesn't mean inflation is good. It just means it affects different groups differently. Borrowers, savers, investors, retirees, all experience it in unique ways. Busting the nuance. Okay, so we've cleared up the myths, but let's add nuance. Why does life still feel expensive even when inflation is slowing? First, wages haven't fully caught up. For years, prices rose faster than paychecks. Even if wages are climbing now, they're climbing from behind. It takes time to close that gap. Second, essentials keep going up. Shelter, utilities, groceries, these are the things people can't avoid. Even if electronics or used cars are cheaper, that doesn't help much if rent eats half your paycheck. Third, psychology. When prices rise quickly, we remember it. Sticker shock sticks with us. Even if inflation cools, we still feel the sting of that first big jump. And fourth, averages hide pain. The national number might look okay, but your personal basket of goods, the things you actually buy, might still be way up. Practical tips to cope. So what can you do? You can't control inflation, but you can adapt. Here are some simple, practical steps. Track your spending. Don't just guess. Know exactly where your money's going. Awareness is the first step. Shop smart. Compare unit prices, look for generics, and avoid impulse buys. Inflation thrives on shoppers not paying attention. Plan meals and energy use. Cooking at home and cutting wasted electricity can make a noticeable difference. Negotiate when you can. Rent, phone bills, even subscriptions. Sometimes all it takes is a phone call to get a better rate. Save the small wins. If gas or groceries cost less one month, don't just spend the difference. Use it to build a cushion. Stay informed. Understanding what inflation really means can reduce stress. It's easier to plan when you know what's happening. Bringing it home. Let's wrap it up. Inflation is down, but that doesn't mean life is cheap again. It doesn't mean your paycheck goes further. It doesn't mean the struggle is over. What it really means is that prices are still rising, just more slowly than before. The myths we've busted today, like thinking prices always go back down, or that the official number tells your personal story, are what caused so much confusion. But now you know better. So the next time someone says, "Don't worry, inflation is under control," you can smile and think, "Maybe for you, but my grocery bill says otherwise." And here's my question for you. What's the one expense that makes you feel inflation the most? Is it eggs, rent, your electricity bill? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. If this video helped clear things up, hit that like button, share it with a friend who's also confused by all the inflation talk, and subscribe for more simple explanations of money and everyday life. Remember, inflation isn't just numbers in a report. It's the choices you make at the store, the bills you pay each month, and the feeling in your gut when your paycheck doesn't stretch as far as it used to. And now you've got the knowledge to see through the myths. Until next time, stay smart, shop carefully, and don't let the headlines fool you. Please don't forget to click the subscribe button and give this video a like so you won't miss our next videos.